Hi, I'm Richard Kalogian. I want to talk to you a little bit about the DeerCutter, why we use it, how we use it, and some of the feedback that we've got. Again, it's really simple in simulating that sound of a squirrel cutting the nut. And why it's important is because that subconsciously creates a feeling of safety for deer, turkey, squirrel, anything. When you make that sound of that squirrel cutting the nut, which I'm sure you're familiar with, it comes from a natural location. A lot of guys like to hunt out of a tree stand. That's a great place to hear that sound. The primary goal is when that deer comes through the woods or comes out of a cornfield, he's trying to assess where the safety is, and he's listening to those sounds. Up in that tree stand is exactly where he's expecting to hear a squirrel cut, or up in a tree. And then you can use it as a setup call. If you like to rattle, or you like to grunt, or you like to bleat, you get two different species in the woods that are making noise, and they're both associated with the sound of those species. That also mixes things up. Here's some of the neat things that we've got on the feedback. Number one, don't fall asleep when you use this thing. We've had one situation where a coyote snuck in. Unfortunately, the guy didn't get a shot at it. Birds of prey definitely seem to come in. I've had some owl come in. So that's kind of one of the drawbacks. You don't want to use it and fall asleep. Who knows what's going to happen when you wake up. But primarily, it is used just to take the edge off. When you get that buck out there that's 40, 50 yards and he's just not doing what you want, or it's one of those mornings or evenings when things just don't feel right and you got to do something, it's a great time to get on this cutter. Personally, I like to use it about 10 minutes after I'm in the stand. I get in, I get all set up, I just wait about 10 minutes. The first goal and the primary goal initially is to get the squirrel moving, get the squirrel in there. If you're a bow hunter, you know this. They're going to tell you where the deer are coming from before you're ever going to see them if you pay attention to them. So get the squirrel in, get that sound going. You're going to have squirrel cutting right with you sometimes. One of the places that we really like to use this are around cornfields. We like to hunt on the edge of cornfields. You get standing corn. Obviously, the visibility is not very far at all. As that deer comes through, they're trying to assess the danger in the woods. They want to know, without being able to see in the woods, if there's anything in there that's dangerous. When they hear this sound of that squirrel cutting a nut, it tells them one thing. At least as far as the squirrel's concerned, there's not any danger there. They're on the bottom of the food chain. If he's in there cutting, he's in there eating, then again, it's a subconscious thing of where those deer are going to keep moving and not even look up. And we find that a lot. Anytime you have deer coming toward you, if you see them, I don't recommend doing anything other than get ready to take a shot. I wouldn't recommend using this thing as they're coming towards you. Have we done it? Absolutely. Have we been burnt? We have not been burnt yet with this thing. What I like to talk about is that 50-yard gap or that 40-yard gap where that buck's coming in, things aren't right. There's just something there that he's not liking. When he's not looking your way, if you can get a couple cuts in, that's fine. I want to demonstrate something that one of our purchasers actually brought to my attention. I'd like to take credit for it, but I can't. If you're in a ground blind or even up in a tree stand, I want to show you how this person decided to use their DeerCutter and have it handy. It's a great idea. Our lanyard we give you is paracord. There's two pieces of paracord. If you're a bow hunter, you know that eventually you're going to need paracord. You're going to need something. I don't know how many lanyards I've tore apart out in the field because I've needed a piece of string. So you do with that what you want. We got a little piece of rubber on here where you can pull it back and forth. I want to show you something here. If you're sitting in a ground blind on the ground, I also hunt it with treetops. He sat in his ground blind. He would take his DeerCutter and just put it on his leg and wrap the lanyard under his leg and then bring it up behind the DeerCutter and then just pull the string tight. And that keeps everything firm and tight in there. So if you're going to take a shot with a bow or a crossbow, or you're going to use one of your favorite calls in conjunction with this, everything's out of the way and you don't have to worry about your bow getting tangled up. Just simply take the striker portion out, and when you're sitting there, you can also use a DeerCutter. He said he found that to be very effective. He didn't have to ever worry about anything getting tangled up. And then if he wanted to rattle, he could, or do something else in conjunction with the DeerCutter. Again, best of luck in the tree stand, best of luck in your ground blind, and keep cutting.